If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First, it's free. Then there are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Welcome, welcome. You are listening to the second episode of What I Know For Sure. I am your host, Callie, and I have the very special, the bestest guest in all the land, Christopher Michael Plummer. Christopher, how are you?
Ducky.
You're Ducky. Oh,
Just
God.
Ducky.
So this is either going to go really bad or
Don't
really
be so
good.
Negative.
Okay, we're not going to be negative. See, he's already wrangling me in. So I decided that on my last episode that we were going to record an episode and get all of the intros out of the way so people know all the things and we can get into the deep stuff with episodes moving forward. So
I'm a crane operator. I pick things up, I put them down. Fancy term of relocation engineer specialist.
that is a fancy term.
That's a fancy term.
Yeah.
That's who I am and what I do.
So he goes to a big boy job.
Yes, I have a big boy job.
You have a big boy job and you're really good at your job. What did you do before this?
Oh, before I was a crane operator, I spent 11 years in the oil field. Started out in Pennsylvania, moved to West Texas, lived out there for a number of years. 2019, moved back to Michigan. I was born and raised here. Moved back here to be closer to family and my now wife. And it's been a pretty quick, it's been almost 2 years since I've been back.
Yeah. Crazy, huh?
That's pretty crazy.
Flies by. So we're just going to jump in. Do you want to share our story or shall I? Do you want to start and then we can see how this rolls?
Okay. I can start.
Tell the people what they need to know.
What they want to know. The juicy tidbits.
Yes.
Oh, this is many a moon ago. Let's see.
What did we calculate the other day?
Summer in 98. I went to Texas to visit my aunt. And when I came back, I think Michael and Emily had started going to your mom's for daycare. My brother and my sister.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, my mom did daycare for literally all of my life. And she started the daycare, and Michael and Emily, who are her brother and sister, Chris's brother and sister rather, they both have / had cystic fibrosis. My mom was the only person in the city that would take them on, and my brother had asthma and all of the things, and so my mom decided to take them on. And Deb, the best mom on earth, she was pregnant with Emily when Michael started coming. So
that's right.
That's that. Okay.
So yeah, because it'd be August when I came back.
And then, like a whirlwind into the night, you just come downstairs. And how old were you at that time?
Oh, let's see. As an awkward 14-year-old boy, yes, I did the best I could.
With your amazing glasses.
Yes, with my amazing glasses. And I believe at the time, I had a bowl cut.
Oh, yeah. So let's talk about that. The 90s with the bowl cuts. Those are interesting. My brother had one too, but ironically enough, so bad. He had super thick hair. So it was kind of like a shelf at the bottom, if you will, if anybody can imagine that. But
there was two styles of bowl cut. You could go straight across.
Yeah.
Or you could do the dip down in the back.
Ooh, look at that tangent. I bet we just brought a lot of people back where they're like, yeah, my brother totally had one of those.
So yeah, I come whirling down the stairs.
Yeah.
And
with your dad?
With my dad, yeah. We had stopped to pick up, it was after football practice, we stopped to pick up Michael. And there was this cute little 12-year-old girl standing there.
Because I was radically obsessed with being in the daycare. Like, I thought that was my life journey, was to be a teacher / daycare, whatever. And quite frankly, helping my mom got me out of helping with chores. So, we had that to go by. Okay, so that was day one. Mm-hmm. And then I think moving forward from there, I don't remember seeing you after that day. We went to the same high school.
Yep.
I was not the most pleasant person in high school. We can talk about that later, but I was totally one of those mean girls that you see on the movies. Regret, if anybody knows anything about our town, not necessarily any regret, but probably could have staged that differently. But so you go to high school, I go to high school, we both graduate, and then
life happens.
Life happens. So we are both divorced. I am divorced twice.
I'm divorced once.
You are divorced once. And so let's chat about that a little bit.
About getting divorced?
Yeah, because it shapes you, right? So
yeah.
How do you think that your divorce shaped you?
It was a struggle for quite a while, just, after being with somebody for so long, navigating life, not more or less by yourself, but just, having to pick up the parts that your significant other, did, and trying to acclimate them all into, you have to handle A through Z. Mm-hmm. Navigating that, coming home to, that was probably the biggest reality moment, is coming home for days off and having a bed, a TV, and a love seat, and nothing else in the house. I knew that was going to happen, and it was still it was weird to see, going from what was my home to a house. Took a little mental fortitude to get past everything, and it finally got to the point one day I was just like, you know what, I'm not going to not smile no more.
Yeah, I think that all of that, but when I got a divorce, I learned a lot about trusting other people, sometimes a little too freely, and knowing the red flags to look for when behaviors change. And so there was just a lot of, and I know you dealt with this too, just a lot of things that were hidden. And so part of what we work through now is trusting each other enough to say something. Backstory a little bit is, so you moved to Texas.
Yep.
You're in the oil field, and when we say days off, people probably will have questions. So you work 21 days on, and then you have a week, 7 days off, essentially. So when we started dating, so he slid into my DMs.
Okay, now sliding in, that's not a fair assessment.
But it was a real life thing that happened.
Somebody had posted a story.
Somebody meaning me.
On their Instagram. It was just a picture. It was Thanksgiving Day, and so I was just hanging out at home. I believe I had my dogs. We were just hanging out on the couch, just chilling. I was watching football. And I hop on Instagram, and lo and behold, I click on this story, and somebody's beautiful face is there, and I just happened to casually mention how great she looked.
Happened to casually mention?
I did.
Okay. That was very casual. Considering the fact that we had not spoken at all prior. It was super casual. Super proud of you for doing that. And then I gave it a full 24 hours because I was dealing with a very messy, going through a very messy time, a very messy divorce, if you will. August, that was like me putting notification into the air, and then I was working through getting my own place, moving out of our house. And so that day in particular, Thanksgiving, was kind of the start of the holiday season, which if you're single or going through a divorce, it's just a very trying time because nobody really wants to be alone. And so when that was happening, I had to pause for a second, and then I don't know what happened, but something happened in me. And the next day I responded with,
Do you really want to say?
I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
No, we can leave that out. But
Okay.
it was something to get the ball rolling. And then before you knew it, the next month I was on a plane to Texas. And so we flew back and forth for quite a while.
A lot of plane rides, a lot of car riding.
Yeah, 5 hours
Each way.
to the
From DFW
airport,
to
yeah.
Lubbock, yeah.
Yeah. So we did that for quite a while. And then my mom, as some of you know, is not in great health. I mean, now it's better. But when we were going through that time, she was not doing well. And then, so I made the ultimate decision to have the hard conversation with you, which I cried days about, to tell you that I wasn't going to move. And that really was the intention, right? That I was going to move out there and the oil field life was going to be our life. And,
Hi ho, off to work we go.
yeah. And then it just didn't pan out that way. We ended up, June. We packed up your life. The end of June, we packed up your life.
Drove 30 hours from...
Listen, if
from
you've
Texas to
ever
Michigan.
driven across the country with your significant other for 30 hours with a U-Haul and
trailer.
a kid that barely has his license...
He did really well.
He did really well. But 10 out of 10, don't recommend. Just not something I would, like check that off the bucket list, but also don't put that on the list to repeat. It's fine.
Also,
And
when we were doing that, as we were loading the U-Haul, the first day we're starting to load the U-Haul,
yes, I forget.
I hurt my back. I'd pulled something in my back and I could barely stand.
Yes.
And
So here I am with 2 teenage boys loading up a U-Haul.
yeah, trying to get everything loaded. So,
Good God.
and
Yeah.
as we're driving across the country, every time we stop, Callie's
Yes.
slathering icy hot on my back,
Slathering.
and
And dousing it with a patch. Like,
Yep.
so there's this layer that gets slathered on, and then you put the patch on. You are not supposed to use the two in tandem. But, 30 hours in a U-Haul, that's what we're doing these days.
and that's real high quality, smooth riding, especially pulling a trailer with
Yes.
a car on.
But at least I had cruise control.
Yep, it
all
did
I'm
have
saying.
cruise control.
Anyhow, we'll move on from that. So that really
fun
is
trip.
like the nitty gritty details. Oh, and if you want to know a super secret about Chris is that when he gets something in his head to do it, it must be done like ASAP. So when we get to where we are going, which is my house, do you think we're going to stop and get food? No, that's actually not what we did. We unloaded the entire
Everything.
U-Haul. And then we ordered pizza from Lubbock, Texas, where he came from.
I forgot about that.
Yes. So refunded, move on. It was a fun time. So we are here
Okay,
now.
No. On that subject of unloading the U-Haul first, then ordering pizza, what did I say the reason was for doing that?
Oh, because once you eat, you're like done, cashed out. And I've learned that this is how you operate now.
Okay, so when we unloaded and we ate pizza, what did you say to me?
I don't remember. Share.
You're right.
Oh, yeah. He likes to hear that he's right, so I know
Well,
that.
who doesn't like to hear that they're right? That's basic human emotion.
Okay, so that's really like the base layer. And then we've just had a super stellar life since then, right? Easy peasy.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk too much about our kids just because I want to preserve their privacy. But it was a rough start. We had a lot of emotions to manage. We had a lot of hurt to get through. We also had a only child now cohabitating with another child. So we had a lot of stuff, like just a lot of stuff to unpack, really.
It was a very, I wouldn't say stressful time, but
No.
it took a lot of...
Navigating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now it's just like it's been like that forever.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. And we still have this sweet girl living over in New Mexico. So we also had to navigate that. And now we're kind of in a rhythm where she comes to visit on school break and it's
over Christmas
good.
and over summer.
Yeah, it's
she'll
good.
actually be here when her brother graduates.
Yeah. 18-year-old graduating. That's interesting. That's for another conversation. But I just feel like there's this thing that happens when people try to blend families. And we've been very fortunate, I think, in our situation, but that's not the case for everybody. What is one tip do you think we could give people when we're trying to blend families?
You got to be flexible. Everybody, from the kids to the adults.
Yeah.
You got to be flexible and you got to listen.
Yes.
Just because, somebody doesn't like something doesn't mean it's going to change. But always listen to what they say. So at the very minimum, they can feel heard.
Yeah. So good. So good. Okay, so let's talk about some other fun things. Like why we are sitting in a truck in a park with, high acoustics. I'm just kidding. So
we're sitting in the truck in the park because we have a zoo and 2 teenagers that live in our house.
No, these are facts. Like anybody that's on my social media, they see that we have, I tell everybody, we have and I said it last episode, we have a small petting zoo, 2 dogs, 2 cats, 2 children.
I think the dogs and the cats are cleaner than the kids, though.
Yes, absolutely. Like, does anybody else have teenagers that we go to bed with a sparkling kitchen and then we wake up and I don't know what happens?
A hurricane blew through the house.
Yeah, gremlins come out for sure.
You take a pair of scissors, you open up a bag of pizza rolls, cut the corner off the bag of the pizza rolls, you leave the scissors and the bag cutting on the counter.
This is what we do. Yeah, because we're teens.
The French toast.
Yeah. What the French toast?
What the French toast.
Okay, so what types of things, when you were single, because I didn't spend so much time being single at all, but I'll just back up and say this. When you are a woman in a relationship, I feel like when you mentally separate yourself, and maybe this has happened to you too, but when you mentally separate yourself in the relationship, like to you, that's when it's done. It's never like the point in which like you pack up the U-Haul and like somebody is moving away.
It was way before that.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
You definitely get to the point mentally where you're like, and we're done here. Once like the light switch flips off, there's no coming back from that. So during that time, what types of things did you decide weren't going to impact you in the next relationship?
That were not going to impact me?
Yeah.
Like what I wanted out of, like what I didn't, things I wouldn't tolerate in another relationship?
Yeah. Or things that you were not going to continue to do. If you have any of those. I have not.
I feel like as the older I've gotten, you may disagree with this, but the older I've got, I feel like the more patient I've become. I listen better. I feel like I listen better. Co-worker.
Yeah, I think for me, one of the things that I decided wasn't going to impact me was I had not shown up as myself in previous relationships. Like, I feel like now, like, I'm a pretty nerdy person. We can all, but before, I didn't feel like I was able to, like, let that shine and let that be.
Let your inner nerd out.
Yeah, like be organic and show up the way in which I intended to show up. So on to the lighthearted questions. Are you ready? I have like 10 of them.
Shoot.
Bing, bang, boom.
Bob's your uncle.
Bob's your uncle. What are you enjoying most about our relationship right now?
I'm actually having really fun at this exact moment doing this. This has actually been kind of fun.
So he was super nervous, first of all.
I mean, I can talk to anybody about anything, but it's different sitting.
Even the guy buying his tires the night before last.
Yes.
Yes.
I can talk to anybody about anything, but sitting and having a conversation without an actual physical person here, like I feel like I'm talking to, somebody that's sitting in front of me, explaining things, but they're not actually here. So it's kind of weird. Like if somebody was actually sitting here, it'd be fine.
Yeah. So welcome to my podcast, where we talk to air. It's a good time.
That's why you need to get one of the animals. Just talk to the lion killer.
It'd be like background noise the whole entire time. Are you kidding me? And the meow and her breathing is so labored.
Well,
It's
she
amazing.
might be a touch on the fluffy side.
Oh, God. You guys, she is so obese.
But she's really, like, if you feel her fat roll, it's not really a fat roll.
Also, welcome to our relationship where we just go on tangents.
Yes, a
Yes,
lot.
also.
Shiny squirrel.
Okay, so what has been your biggest surprise in the last year?
That's an awful broad question.
In our relationship.
The biggest surprise?
Yeah. In the last
When
year.
We got married.
We did get married.
We did get married.
We married it up.
Married it up.
We did. So tell people how that happened.
Like,
We were talking about it for a while.
Engagement. Yeah, we had talked about it for a while. I'm driving home from work, and we're texting back and forth. I know I shouldn't text and drive, whatever. We're texting back and forth. And
Don't at him.
Exactly. And I'm asking her, hey, what are we doing for dinner tonight? What do you want to do this weekend? Blah, 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 blah. How was your day? She's like, do you want to get married? Just out of left field. I mean, we had talked about it back and forth, I didn't know what to say. Like it genuinely surprised me and got me off. So I guess that would be probably my biggest surprise.
Also, it was October, and we got married in September.
September.
Okay, and we got married in December
The day
of
after
the
Christmas.
same year.
The day after Christmas, yeah.
So yeah, this is how we do things.
So we sat on the porch that night. I think we had a date that night.
Well, I said, texting you, I had said the day after Christmas. Or no, I said Christmas Day, and you're like, no. And I said, okay, so the day after Christmas. But I think because Lexi was going to be here, and we're all adults, and we had just gotten to the point of this is forever. This is what it's going to be. And so why not just make it when everybody is available and here, and we don't have to figure out additional flights. We don't have to
do it all in one shot.
Yeah. Good.
The crazy thing is originally we had planned not to tell anybody other than one of my best friends who's ordained and married us. My best man, which was my dad, and Callie's maid of honor. We weren't going to tell anybody. They were just going to show up thinking it was family Christmas. And, oh, by the way, while you're here, we're getting married.
Yeah, that didn't pan out very well. But
no, we both wanted to tell everybody everything all the time.
Yeah. I mean, we're also the people that we open presents on Christmas Eve because I can't hold the excitement in anymore.
That's literally what we did. Like, we had everything under the tree. Christmas was ready to rock and roll. Christmas Eve. It was like 2:00 in the afternoon. And we're sitting in our recliners because we're #old people, and that's what we do.
That is what we do.
And, hey, does everybody want to open their Christmas stuff?
Yeah.
And that's what we did.
Because why not, right?
Just like with Ella's birthday.
Yes.
No comment on that?
No comment on that. I am definitely the mom that is like, and I've said this to you before, my love language is giving gifts and making people feel special and doing things for them. And so it's just, I can't hold it in anymore. Might be selfish, but everybody gets what they want early. I mean, YOLO, right? So with that, where would you like our relationship to be this time next year?
I'd like to be in a bus, RV, van, whatever.
Y'all.
Traveling the country. That's what I want to do.
Let me tell you about this man and his travel bug he has, which I think came sort of from me.
Time out. No, time out. The travel bug I have?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I've never been one to be stuck in a car, but, TikTok and Instagram is a funny place to show up. And when people are like, look how cool this is on the inside of the bus or the van. And when you sent me the one that had like the Harley or the motorcycle on the back of it, like you were all in. You're like, yes.
I was in before
this is what we could do.
But that would be perfect.
With our little Frenchie, and we move on with life. We don't have Frenchies right now, but we plan on getting them after our boys go. Because dogs are life, and we love dogs. Anyhow, okay. So that's what we're going to be doing this time next year.
Hopefully.
Not really, but we have kids to get through high school first. I know.
They can figure it out.
Yeah, they can figure it out. They're really good at figuring it out with pizza rolls and things.
It's pretzels. Ma'am.
You just
Miss
want to make
Ma'am.
me happy.
You better back that RV, bus, van, whatever up.
Yeah.
You better take a look at what it says down the side of it. This is going to say Callie's road trip, van.
Yeah, for real. No, I've never... How are you just feeling about life in general?
This year hadn't been too bad. Last year was rough.
Yeah, the Rona.
Between the Rona and the flood.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about that.
No. We were upstream of the dams that broke in Michigan, and our neighborhood got flooded real bad. We were fortunate. Our house sits back a little further uphill than most of the houses do. We had water fill our basement. It was 8 inches below the floor joist, so, about a good 8 foot standing in the basement.
Yeah.
Towards the tail end of 2019, I lost my sister, and that still isn't an easy one to deal with, and it's been a long few years.
Yeah.
But every day's getting better. I can't say it's getting easier, especially with having lost my sister, but you just kind of one foot in front of the other. Last year was a long year.
It's kind of strange when people say, oh, as the years go on, like, time heals wounds. No. And I just call bullshit on that, bullshit, really. Yeah. I don't think, you just find a new normal. You don't find, there's no solitude in somebody dying, obviously. And I think it's super important that when you do lose somebody, that you allow yourself to feel when those waves of missing them come about, because suppressing it doesn't do anything for your mental health.
And it eats at your soul.
Absolutely. Yeah, and then you end up feeling guilty and all of those emotions. So,
the end of last year, the latter half, the kids got to go back to school eventually. Yeah. There was a slight pause in that. They were home, I think, the whole month of December, like Thanksgiving break on. Mm-hmm. They finished the semester at home.
Yeah.
My daughter flew in, and I got to spend quite a bit of time with her, and got a much needed, week and a half off of work after a long fall. Worked a lot of hours last fall, and obviously the day after Christmas, I got to marry my best friend.
Best friend. Tell me about your dreams for the future.
I want to live in a van down by the river.
Down by the river.
I want to retire in Montana.
Yeah, that's always been a dream of ours.
I want to be able to walk out my house and go trout fishing every day.
Oh.
That's what I want to be able to do.
I'm not a fisher, but I am a kayaker and the things, so I feel like having somebody that you can do things with, it doesn't always have to be you two doing the thing together, but my friend and her boyfriend's, he goes fishing and she's kayaking, but they're cohabitating in the same space. And so that's what we do a lot.
Yeah. Even when we're at home, you'll go and what we call putts.
Right.
Either watching videos, catching up on shows, writing blog posts, maybe a little light work, whatever you want to do around the house, paint your nails, whatever.
Right. We just
Me, typically, I have two things I like to do. I like to work on the truck. And I play lots of Call of Duty.
Yo, he is a video gamer.
Time out. I don't play lots of Call of Duty. When I play, it's a lengthy session, typically.
Yeah, it's 2 days a week. You don't come home from work and, put your headset on and you're ready to rock. No.
Last night, got
2:38, he crawled in bed.
Little late start playing. I started playing about 10 o'clock. I had about an hour pause.
Yeah, because we had an argument yesterday.
Yep.
We did.
We did have
arguments happen. Can we just normalize that?
Few and far in between with us.
Yeah, they are. But when they are arguments, they are about important things, for one. Mm-hmm. And we wake up the next day and we're good. Okay, so that's your dream, just to go and live in a bus down the river to retire early. And I think everybody knows now, but like, I quit my big girl job. I work for myself. And so that is a perk of really what had kind of like spearheaded this whole, we can do this. Because once you invest in a laptop and you invest in building your business so that you can work from anywhere, it's just become this now propelling venture forward of how do we really make this happen. And so we took away the opportunity from the table of purchasing our home that we live in, and we've signed a 3-year lease so that nobody's going anywhere, obviously, because we have kids that need to get through school. And then our plan is to make that a reality and travel, because there is a ton of countryside to see, and we just like to be together always doing all the things. And I think that that's super important, just to be with your person. Like, I do not get sick of you, which is probably one of the most refreshing things. No, I really don't. He's side-eyeing me like I'm some crazy person.
Well,
and maybe I am a crazy person by saying I like to be obsessively around my husband all the time. But I feel like before...
Even if it's just... Even if we're not even talking.
Yeah.
Whether we're just sitting in the recliners, we're laying in bed, watching TikTok videos, YouTube, scrolling. I just genuinely love being around you.
So pro tip, when you're in a relationship with somebody, like, you really, because here's the thing. I feel like when you have little kids and you are either dating, or I was a single mom for a really long time. So I did have your relationship is much different because you were with one person for 16 years or however long. But for me, I had this period of being a single mom. And so I did have a social life, and there was this dating period. But most of like the people that I would try to date, I really could not stand to like be around them longer than a few days. And so I think it's super important that when you are finding someone, there's just this inner feeling that happens that like, I miss you when you're at work, and I miss you, like if you're in the next room, like, oftentimes we find ourselves just navigating and cohabitating next to each other because we genuinely
it's like each other's presence.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I think it's
pro
'cause
tip.
you want me for my body.
Yes, that is also it. If you could
For the record, I am the funny one of the relationship. She can deny it all she wants. Everybody
he
says
really
I'm
is the funny one.
I'm the funny
completely
one.
admit that.
My son is probably the funniest one in the house.
Oh, y'all.
His wit and his quickness, that kid is hilarious.
He is hilarious.
And it's always unintentional hilarity.
Unintentional. Yeah, he's great. We love him. Mm-hmm. He's really great. All of our kids are really...
they're unique in their own way.
But they're good humans.
They are good human beings with good hearts. With very promising futures.
We are so blessed. We just really are. And now, don't get it twisted. We do have things that happen that are like...
Oh, by no means are they perfect.
God, no. They are teenagers. Let us remind everyone of that. They are teenagers, and they do teenager things.
Like speeding 12 mile an hour.
Like speeding 12 mile an hour through a residential neighborhood. It's fine. We're all here. We do things.
Because somebody was late for an appointment. On the wrong day, because sometimes moms just can't get it together. And that's fine. You have to navigate through those things. So, like the wise man Forrest Gump once said, shit happens.
Shit happens.
Shit does happen.
Yeah, sometimes there's cussing on this podcast, and it's fine.
It'll be when the husband's on. I promise you.
Absolutely.
I am not a very, very unfiltered or very filtered person. It goes from head to mouth rather quickly. Rather quickly,
dare I say. So, if you could go anywhere, where would you go? Like right now, if you could just book it, drive it, where would you go?
Boy, that's a good question. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd love to go see my older brother in Japan.
Oh, yeah, he does live in Japan.
Yep. After 22 years in the Air Force, he retired there and stayed there.
Would it be in the United States, do you
See,
think?
that's what I'm trying to think too.
Yeah. There's so many awesome
I don't know,
places.
the way our world is right now.
Okay, COVID aside, though.
I'm not saying just COVID.
Safety aside.
Not even
Because
necessarily
that's important, too.
The geopolitical atmosphere of the world right now is very tense. I would probably say Japan to see my brother.
How do you think that we're doing financially?
I'm not retired yet.
I know. Gosh dang. Get it moving, would you?
Tell that to Dad. Not
He
my
calls
father.
his boss Dad, which is
No, hold on, time out. Now, I don't call...
not to his face by any means, but that's his name that we give them.
It is a nickname that was given to him by somebody else that I work with, and it stuck, and we all, including the other 2 owners, call him Dad.
Yeah, because he thinks he just does all the things. But we're not going to talk about that here.
That'd be a whole other podcast on its own.
Yeah, and that's after you retire.
Yes.
What do you want to do this year to improve our overall health?
Physical health, mental health, spiritual health, what?
Okay.
Sure.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Start from
Physical health, I want to continue walking in the evenings. You know,
we started that.
Mentally, just continue to grow as a husband, as a father, as an operator. Try to be better than I was the day before. Show up every day. Do the things I need to do, and then some. Spiritually, I'm kind of an odd duck. You know, I believe in God and in Christ, and you know, but I don't go to church. I don't choose to actively show up on a Sunday at a building. That could probably be a whole other topic for a whole other show.
Yeah. Probably not this show, though.
Probably not this show.
Yeah, no.
But I'm very content where I am spiritually. I enjoy watching you and our family grow in that aspect.
That's sweet.
It's sweet?
Yeah.
Because I see how much joy it brings to y'all.
Yeah. You never know what life will bring.
Nope. I'm not opposed to it. I choose not to.
What is one thing that I give my time to that you think it could be spent somewhere else?
I don't think you waste any time.
Ooh.
You maximize your time pretty darn well. I wish you'd spend some more time on yourself instead of always worrying about everybody else, instead of focusing a little bit of time on you.
3 cheers for that kind of husband.
You know, like today, going with your mom and antiquing, looking for antiques.
Looking for shit to fill our house.
More stuff to sell when we move into an RV.
You know what? Can we just talk about that? Because I was really conscious today.
Is that part of the reason why I didn't buy that?
Yeah, that is okay. So there was a cabinet, and it was everything you could ever want in an antique cabinet, and I really, really wanted it. And then I'm
trying to talk her into buying it.
Yes,
talk her into.
He was like, "I will gladly bring the truck." And then that was the moment where I was like, "Yes, but then you're going to have to resell this." Like in 3 years, and we all know how fast time goes, right? Like in 3 years, it is going to be
probably still on the back porch. Where everything in the free world lands that we don't know where to put.
Yes. But also, like our kids, you know, like we have this plan, right? And my mom actually said it perfectly today. She's like, is that going to fit in a bus? No, it is not. So why am I buying it? So that's why I didn't see you at the antique store today with our truck. So we came, we saw, we went, we did all the things.
We still have a lot of things to do, though.
Yeah. Yeah. What is one thing that you want to leave the people with?
Like a pro tip, life advice?
Sure.
Does it have to be politically correct and or not obscene?
Yes. Because I have to put a filter on you, otherwise there are no filters to be had.
Oh, there would be no filters. Solid life advice. Do or do not, there is no try.
There is no try.
And another thing my grandpa used to always say, and it always stuck with me, is an amateur practices till he gets it right. A professional practices till he can't get it wrong. Nobody, no sane person in this world will ever discredit you from doing your best, even if it's not completing it. As long as you give your effort.
We have some pretty wise grandpas. With that, thanks for joining me, babe.
Of course.
Thank you, everyone, for riding this ride with us, and thank you to my incredible husband who supports me and pushes me to be better and is always up for silly things. What I know for sure is that nothing is for sure.